What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So I picked up some stuff to change the coolant in this tractor. Noticed whenever I was trying to figure out why it was running hot that there was some scale buildup and stuff in the radiator. The coolant's probably never been changed in this thing. It's a 2013. So I picked up some stuff to change it with. I also got some flush. I'm not sure if I'm going to use the flush or not. And I got some of this hypercool super coolant that's supposed to help it run a little bit cooler. And I'm sure it wouldn't hurt. So I picked up a couple bottles of that as well. And as I say, I don't know if I'm going to use the flush yet or not, because I don't know how bad it is. Picked it up since I was there, and they do not make this thing very easy to change the coolant in. So I got the extended life 10-year antifreeze, because I'm kind of like everybody else. I don't really enjoy doing this. I've already got the radiator drain plug out. I have not removed the radiator cap yet, so it's not really draining. It's just starting to a little bit. You can see down there where it's at, there's a little side shield that goes right here, and you cannot get your hand in there too good. I did manage to squeeze my hand in there. I need to get a pan to catch the antifreeze. Yeah, this will work. Maybe. Kind of goes everywhere, it appears. Actually doesn't look that bad right there, but I'm going to change it anyways. We'll go ahead and loosen the radiator cap. It's all going to go everywhere. Oh yeah. It's definitely not going to hurt to change it. It's coming out down there. Supposed to be, well, I thought there was supposed to be a hole, but it's not really a hole. It's a little murky, but I've seen worse. Trying to let that water pump a little bit of that stuff out of the block. You've seen it get kind of muddy there. Muddy looking stuff. I believe we will go ahead and flush it. So I'm going to put this plug back in there. I'll pour some flush and some water in there, and we'll crank it up and let it run for a while, and see what we can get flushed out of there. Alright guys, so I put 2 bottles of that radiator flush in there. It really only calls for 1. 2's better, right? So anyway, put both those in there, put about 5 quarts of water in there with it. I'm going to let this thing run for probably 30-45 minutes. I'm actually going to increase the RPM so it'll warm up with the thermostat open. I'm not taking the thermostat out because, well, it's about like the drain plug. It's not real easy to get to. So I'm just going to let it run, idle it up at 1,500-1,800 RPM. Let it run for about 30 minutes, warm up. I'll let it cool off. I'll drain that out. We'll flush it out with some clean water, and then we'll start putting the fresh coolant back in it. So I'll be back with y'all in a minute. Alright guys, so I've had this thing running for about 45 minutes. I ran it the first time for about 25, and it was warm on the temperature gauge, but the water in the radiator wasn't hot. So I put some cardboard up in front of it to try to get it to warm up, and I engaged the PTO. I got the bush hog hooked up and let it run about 1600 RPM, so I had a little load on it, and got it up where the water in the radiator is warm. It never did get hot, which is a good thing, I suppose, even with the cardboard up there, because that's the problem I'm fighting. Was that it was running hot, and then I looked and seen that the coolant was dirty, as well as the radiator was clogged up. We cleaned that in the one of the previous videos here. Gonna pull this plug out and drain what's left in here, and that coolant's still not very warm. See what she looks like there. We'll crank it up just for a bit, see if it pushes a little bit more of that stuff out. Seems to be about all of it there. So I'm going to put the plug back in. We're going to fill it up with water, flush it out. Probably going to do that twice. And then we'll be ready to put some coolant back in it. Alright guys, I've got that wrapped up. I flushed it out twice to make sure I got all the radiator flush out of there. And I mixed my antifreeze 50-50 in a separate jug so that I knew how much I was pouring in there, because I didn't know, it ain't like it holds an exact number of gallons. If it was a bigger cooling system, like a bigger 18-wheeler, I don't bother with that because you'll be there all day, because they hold like 10 gallons. But this small amount, I did measure it out 50-50 and put it in there. I poured 1 bottle of that Hyperlube super coolant in there, and I only wound up using 1 gallon of antifreeze, because this don't use, evidently it must hold less than 2 gallons or so, because I got just a little bit of antifreeze left in this jug and had a little bit of water left in the other. So I got a full jug of this antifreeze. This is a 10-year, 300,000 mile guarantee you mix with everything, is what I got. And then I poured a bottle in there. They say this stuff helps. I don't know, I've never used it. Figured it couldn't hurt. Put some in there. So hopefully that has got everything taken care of there, and I think we really corrected the problem when we cleaned everything out of the front of the radiator, all the grass clippings that were in there clogged up between those screens. But I wanted to go ahead and change the coolant, because I don't believe it's ever been changed by the look of it, and so I want to go ahead and get that done and everything, and that way shouldn't have any more issues with that. And you know, if the coolant gets too bad, if it gets sludged up in the radiator, obviously that can cause some cooling issues. So when you're bush hogging, grass clippings is going to get stuck on there. So the cleaner your radiator is internally, is also going to help dissipate the heat. So anyway, we got all that done, and that's all I needed to do this afternoon to it, I suppose. And I don't think we're going to have any more issues with that part of it. won't know till we try it out again, but I had to have cardboard in front of the radiator, and I never could even get it to get all the way hot like it was whenever I was bush hogging. So I think we got the issue corrected. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.